These days, nearly every company is a technology company, or they better become one soon, even yours. And businesses that embrace this kind of thinking will stand apart, but like everything make or break, a change like this brings new complications, new obstacles, like finding the right talent, and just keeping up with the pace of innovation and customer expectations of quality and speed that are, let's just say, challenging. Build as a Service helps organizations clear the hurdles, providing the ability to not only compete, but lead. Built on the as-a-service model, BaaS is your seamless access to the right expertise, working in teams to rapidly create and deliver. Totally flexible, totally scalable, and absolutely predictable. Build as a Service is that always ready, instantly available engine that helps you craft custom-built modern software, the software your business runs on, and the products and experiences your customers love, all while harnessing the data that helps you see around corners, so you always know what's coming. You could say that Build as a Service is all about closing the distance between concept and creation, ideation and revolution, now and next. And it'll help you build your future today.
Welcome to the second episode of Road to DevOps. Today I have a very special guest. She's well known in the DevOps community. She's presented in many different conferences, including DevOps Days. And I know that she's very opinionated when it comes to topics like Kubernetes, for example. So let's welcome Renata to the show. Renata, welcome to the show. It's a huge pleasure to have you here today.
Hi, Renan. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah, we've been talking for quite a bit for us to do this episode. So I'm happy that it's finally happening.
This is awesome. It's such a great opportunity for me to share my experience and all the great things that I have been doing with you.
Yeah, of course. So, today's episode is going to be about you. So I need three things from you. So first one, do a little bit of an introduction for those who don't know you. The second thing is tell us a fun fact about you. So that's something that I ask usually the guests, just so as an icebreaker. And then the third thing, tell us how to pronounce actually your name. I'm sure a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, that could be a fun fact as well. So hello, my name is Renata. We pronounce it in Portuguese. We pronounce it Renata, Renata Rocha. It is not easy if you are an Anglophone, but if you are a Francophone, it's usually much better. I was born in Rio, and I have been working in technology since last century. It's been a while. I started my career as a sysadmin in internet providers back in the day when people still had those walls of US robotics modems, and they were all 14400. So that's how things started. I remember being on the internet one day and thinking, wow, this is amazing. This is such a great thing back when the internet was new. And I need to work with this somehow. I didn't even know exactly what I wanted to do, but I was so fascinated by how powerful that was, by how great. I saw that was going to be the future, and I wanted to be part of it somehow. So I went to university for mathematics, and we had a lab, and someone recommended me to work at this internet provider as sysops, which was they had a BBS, and I was a sysops for the BBS, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Awesome. And how about the fun fact?
Oh yeah. So the fun fact, I really like cats. I really like cats. Everything is about cats. I have one cat right now. My two older cats, they passed, but I really love cats. Everything is cats here. I have Grumpy Cat, and she is with me here, and she's saying no to things all the time, right? Yeah, I have a cat bracelet.
Awesome.
I love cats.
I know that I think there is a headphones, right? That you have a cat ear at the top.
Yeah, they have the cat ear headphones. It's this same one, but they have the cat ears. I don't have that one. I should.
Maybe that's the next one that you're gonna
Maybe the next
buy.
one. Absolutely.
That's great. So, okay, so you told us a little bit about your start in the industry. I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth in that, just so we understand, your journey, right? So, you've been in the IT industry for over 20 years, right? So, and I'm sure a lot of things changed since you joined the first time. But what was your strategy to actually break into the industry? Yeah, like
Uh,
how did you land your first job, basically?
Uh, wow, yeah, this is a very good question. Uh, so I'm from Rio, and Rio is famous for many things: the tourism, the beaches, the mountains, the scenery, but absolutely not famous for the tech industry, right? So it was quite challenging to get a job doing what I wanted to do. I remember being in university, and first things first, how I started programming. I was in mathematics, and we had a class about technology, okay, generic. And the teacher was like, yeah, let's teach you some Pascal. At the same time, we had a lab, and the lab was sponsored by IBM. And we could take this elective, and they taught the lab had AS400 computers, and they were teaching us, if we wanted, for free, to program in COBOL 400. It's an important thing to say that university in Brazil can be free. You can do state or federal university, and it's completely free. Okay, it's paid with your taxes, and I'm very thankful for that. I never had student debt. I could go to university, I could study what I loved, and I never had to pay a single cent for that. So we had that opportunity to learn COBOL for AS400 when I was 18 years old. And I was fascinated, and people told me that, like, yeah, so like these computers are big. These are not like the computers that people have at home. You should try finding a job at like internet provider or a data center. And I started sending resumes all over the city to try to find jobs. But I think my initial strategy was not very well thought, because I was sending resumes to pretty much everywhere I wanted a job, right? And they were screening me for tech support, but like for retail, for companies that had like this point of service computer, like, okay, so they wanted someone to install Windows, fix their computers, and that's not what I was going for. Until eventually this friend of mine recommended me to this person who had a small internet provider and said, yeah, so I think she's doing what you're looking for. And I got this job, and I was essentially an unpaid intern, and they paid for my transportation and what we have in Brazil that is called, it's like a food voucher. It's a Vale Refeição.
That
They
one is hard to explain.
Yeah, it's very hard to explain, but it's something that's part of the deal. You usually get it. It's like a voucher that pays for your meals every day. Okay, so I had the transportation and food allowance, and that's all that I got with my first job. But I'm very thankful that I got it, because it allowed me to land in the industry, get my foot through the door, and learn things about how systems, internet providers, they operate from the inside out, instead of like being the person in front of the computer. I was the person behind the computer, and that makes a huge difference.
That's super interesting. And, I wanted to ask you, when you were in university, were you sure that IT is something that you wanted to do? Because, you've been in the industry for over 20 years. And then I'm guessing, you love the industry, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't stick around for that long.
You know what? Yes, yes, I don't know. It's funny because I had those people asking, mathematics, why? Why do you want to do that? That it doesn't make any sense, like numbers. And technology, computer science wasn't really popular back then. Okay, and people didn't see this as a thing with a future, and mathematics was my gateway drug, let's say, to what I do. And I kept telling people that, like, I know what I'm doing. Trust me, this is going to work. I have this thing, okay? I have a long-term plan for things, and I tend to try to have a perspective. I don't claim to see the future, but at least I try to have a perspective of where things are going, and I have multiple plans for everything, each one of the possibilities. So to me, that made sense, and apparently it did. Okay, because it worked out. So yeah, it was interesting. My boyfriend back then, of course, not my husband, because he used to make fun of me because I chose mathematics, and he said that I was going to become a mathematicologist, and in a very demeaning way. So I left the boyfriend and I stuck with the course, right? That's what you do.
Definitely. And and after that, so for those who don't know, the IT industry in Brazil, right? So I just wanted to give people an idea of how things used to be. So back a few years ago, how was the IT industry in Brazil?
Yeah, so like I said, in Rio, things were pretty terrible. I don't know how things are these days, but in Rio, things were pretty terrible. You were lucky if you had any job that involved computers. And I was unemployed many times. I was underemployed many times. Okay, I had horrible jobs. Things that happened to me included arriving at my job and finding out that the company didn't exist anymore, like that. Okay, just arriving at a place and like, whoa, it's doors are closed. Okay, and having jobs and people not paying me for 3 months, and I just had to quit because you cannot not pay your rent for 3 months, right? So yeah, these things they happen often in Rio, and at some point I made a friend online. So thankful for the internet. I made a friend online, and I hope he sees this because I'm very thankful for the things he did to me. Trentas, he worked at Wall, and he said, "Yeah, I like you. I think you would be good here. I want to hire you." And I was so fed up with Rio, and I said, "Sure, let's talk." And then I interviewed for Wall. To give the gringos some context, Wall is huge, is the biggest internet provider in Brazil. They have like millions of users. It's like the biggest media conglomerate, I think, in Latin America. It's massive. And getting a job there would absolutely change my life. And then I did. And then I went to Sao Paulo, which is Renan's hometown. Sao Paulo is a fantastic city. Unlike most cariocas, I like Sao Paulo very much. I think Sao Paulo is a great place. Um,
We could have an episode about this, this rivalry.
we could.
But let's leave that aside.
Let's keep it this way. Yeah. So and then I moved to Sao Paulo, and I started working at Wall as a sysadmin for them, and it was amazing. Okay, it was one of the best jobs that I ever had in my life. I love all the people that I met there, all the people that worked with me. Many of them are not there anymore. They either left the country, they left the company. But if you work with me there at Wall, and just so you know, you are amazing, and you made a huge difference in my life. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity that we had to work together. It was such a wonderful place to work. So I was there for couple of years, and that's about the time when me and my husband, we decided to immigrate to Canada because the industry in Brazil is very limited. Like, I had a good job, okay, but the options are not that great. I was basically restricted to working at this one place that was great, and everything else wasn't. So I didn't want that kind of career development for me, to be restricted to work at this only place for the rest of my life, even though the place was great. So we applied for immigration as skilled workers for Canada. And in 2010, we moved here. And things here are very, very different.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that because I think it was a huge change. I don't know how it is in the industry in Brazil nowadays if it compares to before, but comparing a few years back in Brazil to when you made this move to Canada, what were the main differences for you?
Um, First things first, I was overwhelmed by the amount of opportunities that you have here in Toronto to work in technology. Instead of like being looking for jobs, jobs look for you. It's crazy. I never had that feeling before in my life that people need to hire me. It was always me trying to find something and being perpetually afraid of losing whatever job I had. The fear, that fear of the possibility of being unemployed and of not being able to pay my bills and having to do something else that is not what I love to be able to pay my bills. And here I don't have this fear. The industry in Toronto is stable, is growing, is great. And I'm pretty sure that if something horrible happens and I don't work at the job that I have right now at Slalom, I will have another good job after because there is a lot of work.
Plenty of opportunity, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah,
one of the things that I noticed when I came here as well, and especially on LinkedIn with recruiters reach out, and yeah, I can see that there's definitely a lot of opportunities indeed.
yeah. And another thing that caught my attention was that being a woman in technology in Brazil, it's absolutely terrible. Okay, people ask you questions that they shouldn't be asking. I don't know if you saw recently there was a conversation about the things that happened, and okay, and I was reading about it, and that gave me some pretty bad memories of working in Brazil. Okay, those things they happen in Brazil quite often, and I've seen those things happening to me and to other women. Okay, it's just what happens there, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, and here in Canada, nothing like this ever happened to me. Okay, people really respect at a much higher level. I'm not saying that there is no sexism in the industry, but it's so much better. It's so incredibly better. Okay, that I don't know. I feel safe at my workplace, and that makes such a difference. Okay, I got a career. I got people who treat me with respect. I got people who don't say things that they shouldn't. Okay, this is a big thing for me. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like waking up in the morning and doing what I need to do and wanting to keep doing the things that I love. You know.
Yeah, and I think this is super important because even though these are the kind of conversations that we need to continue to have, right? Like women in tech, but I think depending on the country, the scenario could be much worse, like you mentioned. Do you know if in Brazil things have improved, or if nowadays it's kind of like still the same as the past?
So, from what I heard, there was a phase when things improved, but with the recent financial crisis, things went downhill pretty fast and pretty bad. Okay, so things are not great right now. And I have been talking to friends that I know who live there, and I'm really trying to convince them to apply for immigration to come here. I have friends who came here after I moved, and they are all very happy. Okay, they're all, wow, how come I didn't do this before? So I am usually the person who says, yeah, I think you should do this. It was good for me. It's going to be good for you. One of my friends who came here is doing much better than I am. So yeah, always a good move.
And you think because we're talking about that there is a lot of job opportunities here. So how do you think in terms of like competition, right, for people to compete for jobs? Do you think you need to like skill up much faster, or how is that? How was the change for you when you came here?
Yeah, but I think this is kind of part of the fun, right? Part of the industry. You don't work with technology because you like to stay behind. You like to do the same thing every day. If you are working with technology and you like to do the same thing every day, maybe you should reconsider. The fun thing about doing some tech work is keeping up to date, learning things fast, and moving fast, and learning whatever new fancy shiny technology people release today or tomorrow, and being flexible to let go of whatever you used to love that is not cool anymore, because things sometimes they just are not cool, and you have to learn the new cool thing. So to be able to be competitive in the industry, you have to do that. You have to have that open-mindedness that allowed people to create the things that we work with. And so you can be that person that is always out to research for what is new, what is going to change, what is going to allow the world to become better, what is going to allow things to be done faster, harder, stronger, you know?
Yeah, and I think this is very important when you mentioned that IT is moving so fast that we need to keep up. Yeah, and since you started as a sysadmin in the internet provider, and fast forward to now where you're working with cloud, DevOps, security technologies. So how was your strategy over these years to always be learning something new, to keep up with the latest technologies?
I like to read documentation, okay, and I like to implement things because I can, okay. Yeah, doing things because I can. That's essentially my technique to learn something. So I don't know. The other day I was like, yeah, I want to learn something about machine learning. So I went on AWS and I played a little bit with a couple of their machine learning AI solutions because I can, okay, because it is there and I can learn. And then I read the documents and I some things didn't work the first time, and then I read some more documents and I go on a couple more forums. I think there's a lot of trial and error. I learn a lot with this trial and error methodology, and I know I'm not the only one who does that. Okay, I know that there are people who like a more structured learning, online classes, or maybe like reading a book end to end. I like books. I have plenty of tech books here. You cannot see, but I do have plenty of books here. But books for me, they work when I have something in my mind that I want to build. So I want to build this application that does something. And then I'll get the book and I'll look on the book the ways to implement what I want to do. So I need to have a visual idea of what I want to do, and then I find out how to do what I want instead of like just following free structure instructions on how to of something that someone decided to tell me that it's their way of teaching things. So my opinion is that you should learn the way that works for you, not the way that someone told you is the right way to learn.
Yeah, there's no formula, right? So for some people, going to a conference might be helpful. For some others, reading a book. I myself, I like to read, but I work better with actually doing things. So I prefer to like get my hands on technology. And nowadays I guess it's so much easier than before, right? So before, if you had to like order a server, that wouldn't work,
You
right?
cannot, right? And like these
Yeah.
days, sometimes you can just like the amount of things that you can spin up on virtual machines and you wouldn't have access before. Like, I don't know, the other day, like I was talking about the AS400. I was talking to one of our coworkers, Pierre, about servers, and I thought about maybe I should buy an AS400, and I found out that it's actually something that I can do. I can buy an AS400 and play with it, people do that, and I was kind of fascinated. What a world to live in. I can buy an AS400 and just like write some COBOL 400 for fun, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's achievable.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I think, you definitely would be able to buy, servers and things like that. But yeah, so when it comes to like, for those who are learning cloud, for example, it's just so much easier, right? For you to spin up an EC2 instance on AWS, or like you said, you just went and started working with machine learning technologies. Imagine in the past, like these things kind of didn't exist, right? It was
And
just
it
for a
was
selected group of people.
so for a very selected elite group of people that were like in this top-notch university or research centers. And today, like, you create an account on AWS or I don't know, cloud, and spin up an instance. You click a couple buttons and you write some code, and it's there and it works. I was like, whoa, yeah, it is like that. It is absolutely fascinating. This is what I love about it. And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, what the people are going to release in terms of technology tomorrow, and I'm just so excited to learn.
Yeah, and if you think of a few years ahead, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself working tech?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to be there in the future, 5 years, 10 years, and I want to be there when I'm 100 years. Who knows what is going to, maybe in 100 years, I'm going to write code for something that's a computer service that's like running Mars.
Oh
Hopefully
yeah.
so. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe even sooner, right?
Maybe even sooner,
It
right?
doesn't have to be 100 years.
It doesn't have to be 100 years. Yeah, I would
Uh,
love to. That would make me so excited, right? Wow, yeah. When
that's
I tell my mom the things that I do, she's like, "Wow, you must be a genius." I'm not. I'm not. I'm just like doing what a lot of other people do. But like, it's fun. It's just like things move very, very fast, and this is great. And I just want to see more people, kids, learning this, because once you get into it, wow, there's so much you can do.
Yeah, I think the main thing is the passion, right? It's not about like being genius or anything like that. It's your passion, right? Your dedication and your effort. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be something that you love. If you don't love this, it's not going to work. You cannot do something that you don't love. Like my mom wanted me to be a doctor like her, and that would never work. I'm not good with blood. I'm not good with medical things. No, I would have been a horrible doctor. But I'm good with computers. I love computers. Computers are fantastic. So yeah, you gotta do what you love, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And also one thing I wanted to ask you before I have a little bit more questions for you, but they're gonna come into a form of a game. Are you up for it?
Oh,
Yeah, I've
that
got a little game for
sounds
you.
okay. So that sounds interesting. Okay, let me
I
try
didn't tell
that.
you before, so you can see your reaction. It's very genuine.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna play the Wheel of DevOps.
Oh my God, that's scary.
All right, so we're gonna play the Wheel of DevOps, and basically what's gonna happen here is I've got 10 questions for you, and I'm gonna give you two skips. So I'm gonna spin the wheel. If you're not happy with one of the questions, you're not comfortable with answering it, it's okay. We just remove it and we'll spin it again. You
Okay.
ready?
Okay, sure. Let's
All
go.
right, let's do it. So the first question we're gonna have is, all right, so do you think programming is a crucial skill to succeed in DevOps?
I think programming is a crucial skill to succeed in many aspects of your life, including DevOps. Okay, this is 2021, almost 2022. Like, we're already like the second half of the year. Like, you can use programming to do so many things these days. Okay, it helps you in your life. Please learn. Okay, you speak a language. Okay, you learn some sort of programming. You can learn programming for computers. It's not difficult. There's a lot of gatekeeping around programming. I hate it. It's just writing things uh, on a computer, and then the computer understands what you said. It's essentially this. It's
Mhm.
not rocket science. Literally, it's not rocket science. So yes, it's a crucial skill to succeed in DevOps and in many other aspects of your life. It's just going to make your life easier.
Definitely. Yeah, you can use programming for so many things that sometimes people don't even realize, right?
Yeah, right. I don't know. Have you ever seen a recipe for knitting, like knitting, making
Mhm.
crochet and knitting? It
No.
looks like programming.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess any sort of like recipe, they need to follow like some steps, and sometimes there's some conditionals. If something happens, don't do
Yes,
this.
and there are loops that you need to follow because this part here is a loop, so you have to
Yeah,
repeat
just
this
keep
part
going, right?
minute. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, when my best friend, she likes knitting, and she showed me. I was like, wow, this is like writing code, but it's like low level machine code. She would be a
Yeah.
great assembly programmer.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, so this one is done. So let's eliminate this question. Let's go to the next one. So the next question for you, Renata, is going to be, all right. So what's the role of soft skills in DevOps?
Okay, so this is a big thing because people love to say that DevOps is the combination of Dev and Ops. Okay, and that is, I don't agree with this. I think DevOps is cultural change. And since we are talking about culture, soft skills are essential part of changing the culture. If you don't talk to people, if you don't understand how business operate, okay, you are not going to be able to make your business implement DevOps successfully in a way that works for you, works to for you and not against you. That's what I mean. Yeah. So it is part of it. It is what soft skills is what make DevOps happen.
Yeah, there's so many important aspects of it, especially the communication portion where you want teams to communicate, right? And not just like we used to say, throw code over the wall. And communication is part of the soft skill as well. So yeah, so I think it's important for people to know that it's not just about the technical skills, but also the people skills, right? The creating relationships and be able to communicate with others and so on.
I like to say that software comes last. First, build a culture,
Yeah.
make people
Mhm.
crave that change. Okay, and if you build it, DevOps will come.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. All right, awesome. So I love that you didn't skip anything. So you're just up for all the questions.
I'm I'm very open.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, so let's do the last one. Let's see. Oh, I was hoping for this one. Okay, this is interesting. So if you had 1 week to learn a new DevOps tool, how would you do it? What would be your strategy?
So this actually happened to me. Okay, I
Yeah.
have a fun story about Kubernetes and how I was thrown into the lion's den with Kubernetes. So I just read all the documentation that I could find about it. It wasn't enough. It didn't help me uh, to solve the problems that I had. And I persuaded my then employer to pay for bootcamp, for Kubernetes bootcamp that helped me to solve the problem. So again, that brings us back to the other question. I think what helps you learn is pretty different from time to time and from the position where you are. Back then, what helped me was to learn a lot of documentation, trial and error, which is a thing that I love, and to do the bootcamp. The bootcamp took, I think, 2 days, and the teacher, the instructor, he was. I explained to him exactly the situation that I was facing. Okay, so this happened. Okay, someone made made a bad decision, and I need to learn this. I need to learn this very fast, and I need to understand how things work rather than like simply learning how to operate it. And the guy was super nice, super kind, and okay, so let's go from the inside out, and I'll explain how things work. And that was great. It was a great experience. So
Mhm.
to me, sometimes I need someone to explain things to me on a one-on-one. That is a good way. Sometimes like the trial and error also works, but sometimes I get stuck on the trial and error too.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is to try, like you said, right? So you need to try. You're gonna fail, of course. 1 week is sometimes, most of the time, is not enough to learn something new. But the most important thing is not to be afraid of diving into the technology.
Yeah, and trust me, 1 week is not enough to learn Kubernetes. You know
Maybe not
that.
even a month or a year.
Oh, no. Yeah, you know that. You-
Yeah. That was awesome conversation. I really enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you so much, Renata, for joining us today.
And thank you very much for the opportunity, for inviting me, and for listening to my rants, because a thing that I love to do is to talk. That's what I do. And talking about computers, right? What is not to love? So yeah, I'm very happy about this, and this was great. You're a great host.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And so how can others reach out to you?
I am available on LinkedIn. Well, you can find me on renata.org, and there you can find a link to everything about me, okay, my social media, my LinkedIn, and everything else. And it's my name, renata.org. It's easy.
I love the website, renata.org. It sounds so smooth.
Yeah, I got the domain name a long time ago when you could still find your first name as your domain name.
Yeah, nowadays it's pretty tough unless you have a very unique name like mine, at least
Yeah,
outside Brazil, right?
Renata is
So-
a unique name outside Brazil too. Like, I don't think I know any Renatas. So my name is also like not very popular outside of Brazil. It's popular in Eastern Europe. I've got people asking me if I was I don't know, Eastern European, which was a funny question, but yeah, I'm Brazilian.
Thank you so much again, Renata,
Yeah,
for coming to the show.
awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Brennan.
All right, take care.
See
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
What's up, builders? Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Build DevOps Show. If you did enjoy this episode, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button in our channel. And to be notified when we release new episodes, please turn on notifications and join our meetup group so that you can stay up to date with all of our new releases, workshops, and much more. Until next time.